In this video, I'll be talking about JavaScript comparison operators. Okay, I will first of all start by creating my HTML structure. This is my HTML structure. Then inside my body, I will now add my script elements. Then I'll be making use of a standard JavaScript file, which is this one. I've already created index.html. So to create this index.html, just click this file here. Then type in the name of your let's say I want to use just index.html. Index is the name of my file. You can give it any, you can name it anything you want. You can say anything, just make sure it ends with .javascript.js. Okay, so that's that. Once you do that, just click enter. It will be saved in your folder. Okay, so I'm not creating another. I have one already. Okay, I have this index.js already, so I'm not doing it again. So what I will now do is I will link this external CSS, this external JavaScript in my script element. So to do that, I will say source src, enter. Then I will now this src is a attribute. Okay, you can watch my HTML video on attribute. You know what attribute is. Okay, I will now give the attribute a value of the value will be the name of my external JavaScript. So the name of the external JavaScript is index. You can type the name, or if you don't know the name, or if you have multiple files inside your folder, the easiest way to do is just use dot backward slash, and it will list out the content of your project folder. Then you select the file that you want to select. Okay, I'm selecting in .index.js. Okay, so I will now close this sidebar. I will now close it. It's now closed. Then the next thing I'll be doing now is to split my screen. I want to split my screen. But before I do that, I'll first let me add because we'll be using using element output. We'll be displaying our JavaScript output through an element. So I prefer using header one. It's more bolder. Okay, I'll use header one. Inside header one, I will give it an ID. You can give it a class if you want, but I prefer using ID. Or no, it's ID. ID is the best, not actually the best. I know just that I prefer using ID. Okay, let me give it a name, hash1. You can give it any name you want. Then I'll give it another attribute, which is style attribute. Inside this style attribute, I'll give it a, let me give the test. Let me just put test here, so I'll be seeing what I'm doing. Let me just say something like d in here. Okay, so let me refresh the page, so you'll be seeing it in my browser output. Okay, this is the output. Okay, now let me give it some values and attributes. Some values. The values I've given to it, this thing I'm doing now is just for displaying our output from the JavaScript file. So let me add attribute value to this attribute. Let me give it let me start with giving it color. And let me give it a color of aqua. You can give it any color you want, depend on your test. And the reason why you're doing it, you can see the color have changed. Okay, so I want to push the test. This is our this is our test. I want to push it to the center here. So I will now say something like, I will now say let me give it let me use test align. That is it. Let me use test align. Then I will now use center, so the test will now move to center. You can see it's now in center. So next thing I will now increase, I will give it a background color. I'll give it a background color. Let me give it black. Black will make more sense. Background color. Let me say black. I think black is better. I think it's very much better now. But I want to increase the size of the text inside this our element. I will say font size. You can actually do this, but if you don't want to do this, you can actually output your values, your JavaScript output through dialog box, which is alert. You can actually use console.log. Okay, then you can actually use document.write, but I prefer using elements because it allows me to add some property that as I'm doing now, so it will be more bold for the sake of the video. So to be more bold in this screen here. Okay, so the next time I will now give it a font size. Let me just give it for, let me say 3.5 em and see what it looks like. If it's not okay, I will increase it. 3.5 em. How does it look like? I think this one makes sense. The size is okay. let me make it 4 EM. Let me say 4 EM. Okay, I think this one is a little bit better and okay. And let me leave it that. Let me leave this one now. Okay, so what I will now clean the text inside. I've set it up. So I will now split my screen into two. My VS Code screen. Just click this icon and your screen will be split into two. So I'll split it into two. Then I will now open my folder. Just click this icon to bring out your folder. Then I will now drag and drop this my JavaScript file here. Okay, then I will now click this icon to return to close the sidebar. Then I will now remove this HTML. Okay, I want to have only JavaScript here. Okay, so let me also reduce the screen here so I'll have more space in my JavaScript. So what I will doing here now is we're talking about JavaScript comparison operators. So what I will using now, I will now link my I'll use document.getElement by ID and then dot inner HTML and then open a bracket. Inside the bracket is where I'll be using the operators to illustrate, and you'll be seeing the output in the browser. So to do that, I'll say documents dot get element by ID. You can see class name. You can use if you use class, I will use class name, but I used ID, so I'll use ID. Then I will now input the ID name, which is I use hash1 as the ID. You can use any name you want. So always remember to put double quotes inside your brackets. Inside this your document.id bracket. Then you now put the name the name of the ID, the ID name, then dot inner HTML dot inner HTML. Then I will now open brackets. Okay. So inside this bracket is where we'll be writing our operators. So first of all, we start with a quality operator. Okay. A quality operator work with I just think of using let me do this thing this way. I think it will make more sense. I want now. I want to create another HTML, another header one. The first one will be I will label it on the top for outputs, and then under it I will create another header one that will be saying that we will be writing something like say and the type of operator we're using. I think that will make this video more interactive. So what I will now do in under this before this our header one, I will say something like let me say output. Let me use block letter. Let me say outputs. Instead of us, let me write it inside. Should I actually even use div? Div, how will div do this thing now? Let me just use header one, hash one, and do it. Session is more better. It will take me a little bit time, but let me just do it. I want this video to be more interactive. Just bear with me. So I'll say hash one, not hash one, but I will say output. I'll say output. This I don't make sense. Let me say output. Let me say output from JavaScript. Just output from JavaScript. Output from JavaScript. Does this thing look nice now? I think it's okay. Output from JS. Let me just write the name of our file. Output from index dot js index.js. Okay. So I think this thing will make sense. If let me just type something and see how it corresponds with our this. Let me say equal to. Let me use this code and let's write something and see what's okay. Yeah, I think this is very very okay to me. Okay, then the next thing I will do now, I just want to let me copy this. Let me just highlight it. If I highlight it, I will just duplicate it. Okay, now that I've duplicated, what I will now do, I will just change this. Let me make sure that this thing is still giving me what I want. Let me see. Let me write something inside. Then I'll put equal sign here. Okay, I think it's better this way. Okay. Then let me just create it. Okay, then what I will now do is I will just come under here now. I will say something like since I will now change this id now to h2. Okay, every other thing remains the same. Should I even change the color? Let me just change this color to something like I think red and black will match. Red and black will match. Or let me use a color that is more visible. Let's say purple. Purple color will match. Purple and the black for is just showing our type of operator that we are talking about. Okay, and then here I will now change this label to let me say I will change this thing to, just bear with me, I just want to make this video more interactive. I'll just give this name, the name here, this label, the second display, I'll give it a name, say something like anything. Let me just use output, let me say type of operator. So, okay, let me just use that word, type of operator, type of operator, type of operator. I think this one makes sense, type of operator. Okay, so having done this now, I think I've done with what I want. Now let me just give space between them so they have a space. We say br, let me use lowercase, say br, enter, then 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 let me just, so it will space out. Okay, let me just add more one, br. I think it's okay now. Okay, now what I will now do is I will now come inside this our index.html. Let me highlight everything here and then duplicate it. Okay, then I will now space it down, let it go down. Let me just push it down. So this one now is just for our, just for labeling our. Okay, let me just bring it up small. I'll use this let me put here 2. So this one is for showing the operator we are talking about, and then here is the showing the output of the let me say output of the operator. Okay, is using output is not making sense. Let me say the let me say reaction. Yeah, that's the best word. Let me say reaction of the operator, reaction or effect of the operator. Let me use effect. Is effects, let me use effect. I think effect makes sense. Let me say effect of the operator, effect of the operator. This is the first, not this one, not this is not what I want to do. Type of operator, this one. Then what I will now do, I'm supposed to do that one in the first place. Here's what I was supposed to do. It's not done the second one. Let me scroll up. I'm supposed to do it here. I'm supposed to do it here. I will just say something like instead of this, I'll say effects of the operator. Okay, I think this will make sense to me. I think it makes sense, so I will leave it this way. This is all I want. I don't want to waste more time. So what I will now do, I will now come inside this place now. Inside this one, I will now say equal to. I'll now open double quote. So any operator that we'll be describing, we will input it here. For instance, we are talking about, we will start with equality operator, so which is double equal sign. You can see it. Oh, this purple is not giving me exactly what I want. Let me make it, I need the color to be more visible. Let me say something like yellow. How will yellow look like? I think yellow is very nice. Then I would like to put space in between them so it will be visible. Okay, yeah, this is very much illustrative. So now this type of operator, this is the operator we're talking about, and this equality operator, this is how the operator look like, but it will be closed. The reason why I spaced it out so that it will be visible when you'll be making use of it, it will be closed. Okay, now let's see the effect inside the, let's see the effect. So to use it in arithmetics, all you have to do is, or if you want to make use of it, it's not only in you can actually use it to you can actually use it in, what is it called, in string and boolean, and you can use it anywhere. It's always return true or false value. That is the effect of it. So inside this place now, let me use two value. Let me say 2 equal to 2. Let's say the output. What is happening? okay, I'm supposed to use put equal sign here. Yeah, it's supposed to be equal sign there. You can see now, um 2 equals to 2. What this thing means is 2 equal to 2. Okay, if you use only one, equal sign, what this one means is just a kind of assignment, operator. So it's not what we are talking about. So what we're talking about is equality. So that is why it must be 2. It must be 2. Is equal 2 is equal 2 equals equal sign here represent equality in JavaScript. Okay, you can see now it's saying that two of them, 2 and 2 is 2 is equal to 2. Two of them is the same thing, as in two of them are equal. So what if I put something like, and note is returning a boolean value. So if we put 3 here now, you can see it says false because two of them are not equal. You can see two of them are not equal. Okay, so having said that, we're talking about another operator, which is inequality operator. Okay, so how we do that, we say something like, we use think apostrophe and then equal sign. This is how it looks like. Okay, so inside our java inside this place, we will now put the two equality sign, which is these two sign. Okay, so what this thing does, it gives opposite of what equality does. Okay, if there's changes, like if there's anyone that is not equal to each of them, it will give you true. Okay, it will give you true. But if two of them are equal, it will give you false. For instance, now 3 and 2 is not equal. Okay, so this apostrophe, what it represents, not equal. So this thing means, this apostrophe here means not. Okay, not equal to 2 is true. Okay, but if I put let me say, if I put the two value that are equal, let me say if I clean this two and put 3 here, it will say true, it will say false, because two of them are not equal, which is they are not how will I do it, how will I say it now, they are not there's no one that is um not equal to. Let me just use it that way, because this thing is always this thing you have to, since sometimes it's always confusing. Okay, so but it will only give you true when there's any value that is not equal. If the two compared operand are not equal, then it will give you true. But if the two of them are equal, it will give you false. Okay, now having said that, let's talk about another one. Another one is triple equality sign. So but we always call it identity operator. So each sign is using three equality sign like this, three like this, 1 2 3. Let me give space, but when you be making use of it, you don't need to give space. This for illustration purpose, just 1 2 3. Okay, now I'll make use of it here. So let me say 1 2 3. Okay, okay, so what this thing does is that, one, it is very strict. It's a kind of this kind of strict operator. I will just use my word, like saying it is a strict operator, because it considers two things. One is that two of them must be equal. Second, and the second thing about this operator is that the two values must be of the same data type. Okay, for instance, if I say, let me put 3 here, and it will say true. Say put 3 here now. See, it's true now. What if I put a string 3 here now? Let me say string and put 3 here. This thing is still 3, but it's string. It's saying false because they are not of the same data type. You can see that. But if I put that same string here now and say 3 now, it will say true. You can see that. So two of them must be equal, and then two of them must also. But let me just add another value to this string. You see what you see the effect. Let me just add any symbol. Let me just say dot. Let me just put anything. Say it's false. So two of them must be equal, the same value and the same data type before it will say it's true. Okay, that's what these three operator do. This is identity operator. That's what it actually do. So the next that we're talking about is non-identity operator. Okay, it's almost the same thing with not equal to. So what you have to do, just remove this one equal sign here, and then replace it with this apostrophe here. This is what it means. This is how it looks like. So what it actually does, okay, let me also put it here. Let me say not. not one, but shift not. Okay, so what it actually does is, if the two, almost the same thing with not equal, just the same thing. What it actually does that if the two operand, which is this value you put here and the value here, if the two values are equal and have the same data type, it will say false. But if there's any changes, if the two operand, which is this value here and this value, there's any difference between any of them, let's say they are not the same data type, or they are not the same, or two of them are not equal, it will print true for us. So let's say something like, let's replace this with 4, it will print true now. Then what if we say something like, let's screen this. Okay, let me just remove, so it will not be of the same data type. You can see it prints true. Okay, showing that there are difference. Okay, these things are very, very important, especially when we are coding some stuff, even in some authentication. These things are very, 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 very important. Okay, so the next operator I'll be talking about is greater than. So this is this symbol, everybody knows that. So let me make use of it. So this one, it returns true if the let me clear this one and then remove this and then put greater than inside. Okay, so this greater than, if the first value is greater than the second value, okay, it will print true. But if the one this arrow is pointing at is greater than the one at its back, it will print false. Okay, so which means this operator is greater than equal. So what I put here now is saying that 4 is greater than 3, which is not true. That's why it's print out false. Then what if I put something like, say, let me say um let me say 5, and put 5 at the back. You can see it's not true, okay, because 5 is greater than 4. Okay, we'll not waste much time in this one. So the next one we're talking about is a greater than or equal operator. So we'll just add equal sign, equal to in the front here, so you can see it here. So we'll just add the same thing here, equal sign. So what this thing actually does is, when this if this one is greater than this or equal to it, then it will print true. For instance, if we say something like 3 now, it will say false. One is because 3 is not greater than 4 and is not equal to 4. But if we put 4 now, it will print true. You can see it's true now. Then if you also put 5, a number that is greater than 4, it will also print true. But if you put anything lower than 4 and is not equal to 4, like 3, it will print false. Okay, having said that, let's move to another one. We're using less than operator. So let's screen this. So we use this symbol. Okay, you can see this symbol is pointing to the left. Okay, so is the what's it called, less than operator. So we now put this one here. So let me just say, put some values. Let me just say 1. Let me say 1 is less than 2. It will say true. You can see it's true now because 1 is less than 2. But if I say something like 3 here now, it will say false, because 3 is not because um 2 3 is not less than 2. Okay, 3 is not less than 2. That's why you say false. But what if I put something like this? If I put the same value here, like say 3 3, it will always also say false because we are not using the unite operator. So that leads us to another operator called less than or equal operator. So we put equal operator at the back of this the back of this operator, which is like this now. Okay, so if we now put 3 now, if we also put it here now, so it will turn to true because 3 is less than, okay, 3 is less than 3. Two of them are equal. Or if you say something, if you put something like let's say how about 4 is false, how about 2 is true. So this true is less than 2 is less than 3, to print true. But if we say something like 3, it will check 3 is less than, is not less than 3. So it will just go to the second operator. Is the two of them equal? So it's confirmed that two of them is equal, then it prints truth for us. Okay, so that is a simple illustration on JavaScript comparison operator. Okay, So I take my time to create, just to create, do this, so it will be more easy for us to understand. For better illustration, let me push separation so it will not look like a pointer arrow and something like this. So I think this we're calling it a day in this video. I think we are done in this one. Okay, so thank you for watching. See you in the next one.